Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking the video. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. Apologies in advance. I'm pretty sick while we're recording this, but I had to get this out because there's some not breaking news, but just developing news as far as Nick. I mean, Nick started out the weekend on amazing terms with everybody in the community, especially on Twitter. You know, the people from these past 6 or 7 seasons mostly. And he has ended this weekend being a complete outcast. I mean, the word devil and Nick kind of go simultaneously. What is this awful thing that Nick has done to earn this reputation? What is the horrible, humanity crushing event that happened? We are going to talk about it in today's video. But before we start, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. Okay, so for context to start, Nick has really lived the Survivor dream. I mean, he's gone on a season that was amazing, had great characters, was really fun to watch, and he beat every single person, won the game, was a hero, you know, got a great edit, came back for the all winners season, made the merge, went far, did great. His edit was okay, but like overall, it just he has a dream life. And then afterwards, he gets elected to be a representative for his district that he talked about on the show. He literally has lived the dream life so far. And recently, as the culture war has heated up, especially over the debate over transgenderism and specifically transing the kids, the idea that schools as well as many celebrities and businesses are trying to push this trans ideology on kids, that men can be women and women can be men at the very basic form. And of course, this is false. We all know this, and anyone with common sense knows this, but it's become a hot button topic. And so some states, namely Tennessee, have passed legislation that makes sure that kids can't chop their weebies off. Very simple stuff here. They also can't use puberty blockers, which essentially just pause a child's development in order to support their gender affirming care, which really means, again, just chopping their wee off. And of course, also just not punishing teachers for using the correct gender when identifying a student or making a slight mistake, not firing them for this. And like any person with an ounce of common sense, human decency, and actual empathy for these kids who are confused about their genders, Nick voted for this bill. I know, it's so radical, it's so horrible. He's literally the devil. He voted for a bill so that kids can't chop their weebies off. I mean, Twitter has lost its mind. When I say every player from the past few seasons hates Nick, I mean it. They absolutely despise him. And I think what we're about to go through shows you how passionate they are about grooming your kids to the point where they can literally say that men are women and women are men. All right, this first tweet is from Adam Klein, the winner of Survivor 33. He says, "I'm heartbroken and angry at the way that trans people, and especially trans children, are being discriminated against all over this country. We're going so backwards. If you take away gender affirming care from a kid who needs it, you are on so the wrong side of history." So I think the first thing to say is, if you think that the people who are against castrating kids are on the wrong side of history, you clearly need to go back to history class. I mean, there's no other solution there. As far as, you know, the first part, saying he's heartbroken and angry, it shows that not only do you have to be passionate about the woke virtue signaling, but you have to show that you are angry and heartbroken and you're an ally. And it shows like the hive mind nature. They literally do this in North Korea. If you don't cry hard enough when the dictator dies, you get punished. These people feel so pressured to be heartbroken and angry that kids can't chop their wee-wees off, that they go to the extent of writing angry paragraphs on Twitter. Next, we have Christian from, again, season 37. He said, "Gender affirming care is a lifesaver for transgender youth. So says that this scientific evidence." And then he goes on to quote some very selectively picked studies. And again, you can go back and forth with studies, but I think the key thing is you can't find studies on this that are accurate and use data from a long period of time. He's saying that it's a lifesaver, and he's inferring that kids won't kill themselves as often if they chop their wee-wees off. But one, we haven't been doing this to kids for long enough to get that data. And two, of course, we all know that that cannot be the case. That's not normal, and for all of human history, that's never happened. It's a social contagion, seeing it on TV, seeing it on Instagram, and just overall having problems with gender dysphoria causes it. Being suicidal will not be fixed by chopping your wee off. In any universe, that will never ever be true. And so to see Christian just actively lying here, especially when he knows he's lying, is even more disgusting. Next, we have Jonathan Penner, of all people. I feel really disappointed having to say Jonathan's name in this conversation, but he's brought himself into it here, saying, I honestly had no idea who Nick Wilson was, saw this, looked him up, and now I know he's an asshole. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. We've all seen Cook Islands. Penner loves to flip on his allies, but at the same time, it's really curious to see that Jonathan Penner knew nothing about this, looked up, clearly did not read the bill. So you clearly did not do enough looking up. He just saw what other people said about the bill, and then now he's an asshole. It just shows how quick they are to judge. They somehow call themselves the tolerant left. They're so tolerant and accepting unless they disagree with you. Then you're a horrible person, a devil, and as Nick has learned, you will lose all of your friends. Not that Nick probably cares at all. I mean, he's probably just laying back in a giant house with a wife and kids, just being happy that he's accomplished his life dreams, while these people sit on Twitter and fume and cope and seethe. Continues with people like Angelina saying, here to say I unequivocally support and love trans and gay people, with again the entire rainbow of hearts out on the screen, because that was very necessary. And then of course you have Carla telling people to go vote. Oh my god, no way, I can vote, it's a democracy. That's crazy. Thank you for that piece of information, Carla. The next tweet is from Ricard from Survivor 41. For context, he basically, to put it in simple terms, got a girl pregnant, but then the girl is actually identifying as a man. So in his eyes, he got a man pregnant. I'm making huge air quotes here because men can't get pregnant. Everybody has known that since the dawn of time, until the past 7 years when all of a sudden that's changed. Nonetheless, Ricard says, this is what confuses the shit out of me. I spent time with Nick in December, so kind, so sweet, felt such a good connection that we ended up grabbing a beer and to talk about my husband being pregnant, and that we couldn't have felt more understood. And of course, what's happening here is Ricard is confused why Nick could simultaneously be nice to him and respect his lifestyle choice. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, obviously Nick can be friendly to you and still not think that what you're doing is good for society. That's what we do every single day. For example, with different religions, you are respectful but you disagree with them, and Ricard completely fails to understand this. I think it's more important to focus on what we do have in front of us, which is a culture war going on. And really it's not Democrat versus Republican. It's not, good versus bad. It's simply truth versus false. Men cannot be women and women cannot be men. That's not political, and it wasn't political until about 7-8 years ago, when all of a sudden these people decided that not only do they want people to be switching genders and showing that gender is malleable, but also that they want your kids to do the exact same thing. It's despicable, it's evil, it's everything that we all know it to be. And the fact that I'm 17 years old, still in high school, and I can see this, and these grown ass, goofy ass adults on Twitter can't see this, is nothing short of embarrassing. And if you're watching this video as maybe someone on the left, just take a look at yourself and what you're doing in a logical way. Do you really think that a man can be a woman? Ask yourself, what is a woman? And if your definition is anything other than a person who can give birth and has XX chromosomes, really look at yourself and think, what the fuck went wrong? But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm just a weird guy speaking in a weird microphone. If that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one.